What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Trippy, and we're back with yet another Naruto video. In this one, I want to talk about what if the Sannin, that being Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade, had a rematch against Hanzo during their Shippuden era states. This was recommended by a subscriber, so if you have any ideas for a video, make sure to leave a comment, and I'll do my best to get around to your topics, as long as I find them interesting at least. But yeah, let's hop into the video. So this what if really hedges on if you think that the Sannin are stronger during Shippuden than they were during the Second War, and also just how strong Hanzo is in general, because it's relatively hard to power scale him. Let's talk about the Sannin first. So some people may think that it's pretty obvious that they got stronger, and you're not wrong, it's heavily implied, but there's some things that may point to that not being the case, so let's just cover those real quick. So first off, Jiraiya thinks that it would be like physically impossible for Hanzo to be defeated just before he ends up fighting Pain. He's shocked that Pain was able to beat Hanzo, so that implies that Jiraiya still feels like he himself at least would be inferior to the Hanzo that he fought during the Second Great War. This could obviously be a bias on Jiraiya's part and isn't concrete, as Hanzo has some anti-feats that we'll cover later in the video. But yeah, this statement is still a thing, and I figured that I should at least cover it. Another statement that implies that the Sannin were stronger during the Second War is when Tsunade is fighting Kabuto, and she says that Kabuto is more precise than her in her prime, implying that she wasn't in her prime anymore. And with this one, yeah, I mean, maybe she wasn't in her prime during part 1 Naruto, as she had been out of combat for around 15 years and was rusty, but during Shippuden, she's very obviously stronger. And we know she didn't have 100 healings during the Second War, and that she ended up getting it around part 1 due to this statement from Orochimaru. So that anti-feat is pretty much debunked by this statement alone. There's nothing implying that Orochimaru is weaker than when he was in the Second War. In fact, it's heavily implied that he got much stronger, as he was just learning new jutsu and consistently training from the time he left the village. It's also supported by the same statement that we used to debunk the Tsunade point, where he says that he has developed new jutsu, implying that he has gotten stronger. As for Hanzo, he's one of the harder characters to scale in the series. You can only really go off of like statements, like when Lady Chiyo says that she fought him more than once, implying that they are relative in some way. And when we do see him in the war arc, he's getting beat by Mifune, who doesn't have the best scaling, as MS Sasuke just packed him up while he was fatigued. Granted, Hanzo was an Edo, and gauging how much of a nerf he would have is almost impossible. That's why you see me throwing around the 80% of their full power thing that I say when talking about Edos. It's more to just give the Edos a number that's easy to use and go off of when trying to scale them, but in reality, being an Edo Tensei could be seen as a buff or a nerf or just straight up nothing at all. Like, Mu is directly stated by Inoki to be just as strong, and Gaara says Gengetsu is just as strong or stronger than Mu. This implies that he wasn't nerfed since Mu and Gengetsu killed each other when they were alive. Rasa kind of can't be nerfed in any significant way given his performance in the war, and the rest of Kabuto's army doesn't show any form of a nerf that isn't explained by other factors, such as like Sasori not having his best puppets. And some Edos are stronger, like Minato, who got a substantial buff by having half of the Nine Tails, or in other cases the jutsu just mitigates some characters' chakra and stamina issues. I mean, it's obviously a nerf to some degree, like the Edos being nerfed is definitely a thing, but it's more of a case-to-case basis. Like Zabuza, for instance, has no signs of being nerfed. In fact, some argue he has an unstated buff, which I don't really agree with, but you get the point. I think that 80 to 90% of their full power range is the best that we can do for like a blanket term to scale the Edos and give them the benefit of the doubt, as it's just easier to have a quantifiable number, since trying to guess a number for every single character's nerf is just a useless thing to do. But to get back on topic, I personally think that the three Sannin in their like ultimate forms should be able to take Hanzo pretty easily. Like if Orochimaru was in his Hydra form or using Edo Tensei with his essentially immortal body and poison resistance, and Jiraiya has Ma and Pa along with his other toad summonings, and then Tsunade has 100 healings along with Katsuyu healing everyone else, like I don't think Hanzo stands a chance unless you can prove that he's just way more physically superior to them, and that's just an impossible thing to do since he's an unknown character, and from what we do see, his physical feats are kinda trash. To be honest, I think if you just took Orochimaru and put him against Hanzo, he would just solo, since Hanzo's poison is negated and nothing shown should be able to do enough damage to even hurt Orochimaru whatsoever. So yeah, in conclusion, the Sannin would stomp Hanzo if they had a rematch during the Shippuden era. Well, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, then a like would be much appreciated. It lets me know that you enjoy the content and also lets me know to keep making content like this. As I said before, the video idea came from a subscriber, so if you have an idea for a future video, let me know in the comments. Or you can join the Discord and we can chat there about a topic as well. Link will be in the description. And while you're down there, if you want to support the channel further, there will also be a link to the YouTube membership I set up. It comes with a few perks that normal viewers don't get, such as like a shout out at the end of the video. Which reminds me, I want to take time to thank my current YouTube members, USA #1 US and Code Blitz. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, it really means a lot. Also make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, that's completely free and you can always unsub later if you don't enjoy the content anymore. And with that, Trippy out, I love y'all, thank you for watching, peace.